It sure is a delight to be here every morning to talk about business. Welcome to Business Rendezvous. I'm Daisy Leo Asikidi, your host on the show today. Well, we're going to be focusing on electric vehicles. Have you heard about electric vehicles? Have you been in one? I know a lot of people use the hybrid of the electric vehicles now. They use gas at the same time, and they use electric, at least I've heard. But joining me on today's discussion is engineer Joseph Wanze. He's an automobile engineer and is a professional in this field. Now, let's just get right into the discussion. Our topic is increase in demand for EVs. A consumer report survey published in March shows a 350% increase in consumer demands for battery electric vehicles from 2020 to 2022, with demand expected to continue to skyrocket. In fact, another consumer report analysis from 2022 showed the average EV owners could save between $1,800 and $2,600 in operating and maintenance costs alone for every 15,000 miles they drive, which is apparently the average distance the new cars we have drive. All right, compared to the cost of our gas-powered vehicles, our fuel-powered, petrol-powered vehicles. Our electricity prices combined with softer gas prices has made EVs more expensive to fuel, especially in Nigeria, than our fuel-powered cars. And this was the report at the end of 2022. So we're going to get right into it. Engineer Joseph, how do you explain this as an expert? Is the EV tech what Nigeria can actually adopt, going by how expensive the infrastructure is?
All right, thank you very much for inviting me here today. Now, the electric vehicle industry has come to stay. It's now fully established. You will remember that way back 2000 to 2010, it was at the developmental stage, but now it's being rolled out in good numbers, and they are already in foreign countries. Now they are pushing their way worldwide. That is the way to go because of the obvious advantages that comes with the electric vehicle. And for us in this country, I don't think we have any option but to look in that direction.
But you know, getting the spare parts for your normal petrol cars is very easy for us here. You just go to Owelu or you go to Evaike and you get these things. You even see some along the roadside. But do we have all these infrastructures to deal with the breakdowns from electric vehicles, not forgetting our roads are very terrible?
Now, you know that one of that may look as one of the downside of the electric vehicle as far as establishing it here in Nigeria for now. But the fact is that the overwhelming advantages of electric vehicle makes it something we must look in that direction.
Okay.
One of them, I mean, a number of them is, I mean, you don't use fuel, and so you save costs in that one. And then on the environmental side, this emission that we are experiencing, pollution in our environment from car emission, is eliminated by the electric vehicle, and it's very, very cost effective in terms of maintenance, and it has a good kudos in terms of performance. And these advantages has given it a boost, and that is why you see there's a high demand. But when it comes to infrastructure, it's one of the limiting factors in adapting electric vehicle in this country. Yes, they're already here. I understand that the Lagos State government has even just recently acquired some electric buses.
Wow.
But are we really having this infrastructure? No, we don't have them. That's just the truth. We have to rejig our policy in the transportation system and then put in the infrastructure that is needed. And this comes with a huge cost. So proper budgeting needs to be done. But this, besides our bringing it here, it's already going worldwide. In Africa here, Kenya is pushing massively. As we speak, Kenya is upgrading their system to accommodate electric vehicle in all spheres and all their communities. And we can do that and even do better. I say better because we can even adopt much more modern 21st century technology in electric vehicles that will enhance our ability to deploy it as effectively and quickly as possible.
Okay, this sounds like good news for those who use petrol cars, because if they remove subsidy like it is proposed, although President Buhari has said that decision is going to be handed over to the incoming administration to now push through, he's removed his hands, even though he said it must be removed before he leaves office, but that's not the story anymore. But for when subsidy is removed, the price for petrol is going to skyrocket. So if you have maybe an electric vehicle, you have an alternative. But where I have a problem is we don't have power. So how does it, how will it ever work in Nigeria? We have a lot of politicians who are investing in the power sector, in generators, in maybe solar power. So they make so much money. Why would they want to spoil their business? How are we going to charge these cars?
All right, thank you very much. As you have just said, the issue of subsidy. Any person who has been following events in this country over the years and the global petroleum product market, you know that it is a product that is on its way out. And the prices keep rising, they never go down. I have never known where we have a consistent position of coming to our pump filling station to see that prices are dropping. It has never really happened. Rather, the prices keep surging. And these are one or among other reasons why we have the need to switch to electric cars, because or electric vehicles in general, because this cost is beginning to get really on our pockets. There's no doubt about that. And so getting electric vehicle, adapting it into our system, into our transportation system, it will be a huge win for us. And even when this government is telling you that, well, the issue of removing subsidy has been handed over to, it is obvious subsidy will go. And if it will go, this is the time to prepare for an alternative to cushion the effects of the high cost of transportation that will be the outcome of the removal of the subsidy. And if electric vehicle comes in, it removes some very, very important cost implication for the average Nigerian, because if the issue of fuel is no longer there, even the environmental is also going along with it. And electric vehicles are very, very economical to maintain compared to combustion engine vehicles. And they are very, very efficient comparatively too.
Okay. By your estimate, I would want to know what it's going to cost, maybe budget-wise. You know, the Dangote refinery will be opened officially this month of May, at least so the letters we are seeing online, letters of invitation circulating the internet says. He spent several billions of dollars to build this refinery so that we could get petrol. And Dangote is one of the richest in Africa. The government even invested in that refinery. So they're ready to embrace petrol and stick with petrol. But what will government stand to gain if they start investing in electric vehicles? How productive it is? I know Tesla is a big company, and the owner of Tesla is one of the richest in the world. But maybe if government knows, if stakeholders know what they would gain, it could help.
Good. And you see, the issue of petroleum and petroleum products is not something that will be eliminated overnight. They are still going to be around for quite a while. But what we are saying, just like as it's been done in the Western world, they are already moving away from petroleum products to electric vehicles because of these advantages it has. And it's already going. And when you say our refineries, there are so many other values we can attach to them. The petroleum products can also be used to fire turbines, to generate electricity. So it's not as if it's an overnight change. But for the average consumer, the cost implication of moving from combustion engine vehicles to electric vehicles is huge. It gives them a good leverage in terms of cost because of the cost of petroleum product that is ever surging. As I said, it is always a situation where you have prices of petroleum product always rising. It has never consistently dropped. I'm not aware of any situation where you go to a pump station and you go this week, the price is at a given margin, only for you to go the next week, it has dropped, and you go the third one. No, you have never seen a situation like that. So we know that the real change in, the real opportunity that is available for we Nigerians is when we have enough of these electric vehicles. But before that, the infrastructure just has to be in place.
Okay.
And that is where the government comes in.
Let's talk a little bit about the manpower that will be dealing with these. Do we have the manpower? Do we have the brains when it comes to the manufacturing? It's always easier to model your designs here, produce it here, and then release to the market, of course, with investors buying into the business than importing things. Imported things in the long run messes with our economy. But do we have the manpower to build this? Are we teaching our engineers in school enough to get into production, manufacturing of electric cars?
Good. You see, we have always had what we call the indigenization policy in this country. Such much so that if it were to be properly put in place and implemented, adaptation of the electric vehicle technology into our country will not have been that challenging, because putting the infrastructure in place will also include training.
Yeah.
Training of manpower to handle, and then you put the charge stations, you put facilities for both normal and emergency maintenance, and then we have to put a type of design where vehicles that are on electric vehicles that are having issues on the road can easily be exited from the major road to the side lane where it will not be attended to. You see, a whole lot of work needs to be done. And it, as I said, it has quite a huge cost implication. And I don't know how much government is doing about that for now, but whatever they are doing, it has to pass through the due process, as you know. We have to source for the fund, we have to do the budgeting, and then we have to deploy. That will take quite a while for it to get there. And as we know, the electric vehicle industry as it is today, it is moving quite aggressively. The demand is rising on a daily basis. Yes. So we need to act fast.
Okay, we're talking about over 350% increase in demand. We didn't say 50%, we didn't say 100, we said 350. I want to say thank you, Engineer Joseph, for being my guest on the show today to talk about this. Okay, you want to add something before we go? You see,
on the issue of federal government deployment,
yes,
it has the opportunity of even taking a shorter cut of deploying.
Okay.
Yes. And that is just a way of making it the awareness there. Because there is an electric vehicle invention which is above and above the normal electric vehicle we have. And that is, we call it the Uniski String Transportation System, popularly known as a Skyway. Now this Skyway is an electric vehicle, but it's constructed in such a manner that is elevated above the ground. And so, on structures and strings. And it moves and at very fast speed. In fact, the speed is as comparative as that of our aircraft. And it has the huge advantage of giving clearance from the ground, that whatever you are doing on the ground surface does not affect the movement above the ground, just like you have your electricity conductors. Now, this Skyway technology is coming with all the facilities that makes even the normal electric vehicle want to look up to it. It's operated by artificial intelligence, it's driverless, and if we can imagine where this has its own dedicated route. The vehicle is coming with its own dedicated route. So if government can key into that project, you find out that the issue of going to say charge station, constructing charge station is not necessary, because that vehicle generates its own electricity. It stores its electricity and its batteries as it's moving. It has the generator, the motor generators that are operating the vehicle are so powerful that the energy generates, the vehicle can only use 20%. And so there's 80% available to be made used for things like your street lightings, traffic light, CCTV cameras. And if there are excess more, you can hand it to the distribution companies for individual consumers. So that will also help to boost our electricity generation, instead of the electric vehicle looking up to, the normal electric vehicle looking up to our power generation for the charging. This one is self-charging and it stores its energy. It's such a beautiful thing. This vehicle is invented by engineer Anatoly Yunitsky of Belarus, and is operating in Minsk in Belarus and Sharjah, United Arab Emirates, as we speak, and it's about to be deployed worldwide. And I think the governments of this country, federal government, state governments, local governments, individuals, or corporate institutions are all having opportunities to key into it. Because if you look at the case of any industry that is remote from the city center, if it is constructed from the city center to those locations, because there are some industries that naturally they come at a remote locations, and so when you have such a facility, people can from a very long distance go to their locations, go to job, and come back same day. You understand that?
Yeah.
And you can, from city to city, somebody can be based in Benin here and be going to work in Lagos, and you come back same day. That is because of the speed the Skyway elevated stream transportation system offers, and it encompasses all the opportunities, all the advantages that transportation can offer.
Okay.
If it is deployed in this country today, we have immense benefit. Federal government does not need to spend as much on the infrastructure we are talking about, because it's a self-generating transportation system.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, engineer. Now, I'll just give you a few facts about electric cars before we go. Electric cars were first invented in 1832 by Scottish inventor Robert Anderson.
Yeah.
And we also know that Tesla Model 3 is Australia's most popular selling electric car.
Yeah.
Another fact you need to know is that there are 20 million electric vehicles on the road globally as of today. And we also will tell you that Norway has more electric cars on the road than any other country. We're hoping Nigeria will catch up. I'll also tell you this for free. Australia has 3,000 EV public charging stations for their electric cars. And for safety reasons, electric cars make a fake engine noise. Then I'll also tell you this one, that Mercedes EQS has the longest range of 780 kilometer electric vehicles. Then every time you brake, you hold the brake on that electric car, you actually recharge your electric vehicle batteries. Then this is another fact I'll give you, don't pay me. It will take about 300 smartphone batteries to make one electric vehicle battery, but it's makeable. And then China is the biggest EV market in the world, accounting for more than 40% of sales worldwide. These are fun facts. These are facts that you need to know. EVs have come to stay, and we really need to catch up. I've actually been on a cable car before in Obudu that he was just explaining, and it was quite scary but very exciting. Around the note, we'll call it a wrap on the discussion segment on today's edition of Rendezvous. I'll be back after the news with more talks. Bye for now.